What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for May 15th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Might as well just get right into it. It's going to be a little all over the place today just because I'm trying to still process everything, no pun intended. But 112-88 loss. Not much went right. I think the first half was okay. Some questionable actions, I would say. The Niang grabbing Brown's leg was just dumb. Just dumb. That cost them a shot at two free throws, which, they were down three at halftime. You never know. It's just, I don't know. And Tatum is just, I'm going to be the first to say, I think he might be the best player right now in the NBA. And I think he flies under the radar, and I'm not sure why. I guess because consistency. I honestly, I don't know. And to make matters worse, I feel Boston has been waiting for this moment since they drafted him. If you remember back in 2017, we traded the third pick with Boston for the first pick, who Boston apparently, from what I was able to gather, always wanted Tatum. So it's just a dumb pick. I feel like they were just waiting for this moment since they drafted him. We took Markelle Fultz. James Harden. We got traded traded for Ben Simmons or I don't even know at this point. I'm all over. I don't think we traded. Did we trade Ben Simmons for Harden at this point? I think so. Yeah. And we got Ben Simmons back in Game 7. At least Ben Simmons played some defense in that Game 7 against the Hawks. I don't know. I doubt he'll be back, but I don't know. I don't know who else is going to take him, to be honest. He looked old, and I don't think he's getting a big contract. I think I don't know. I could definitely see him coming back. Nobody showed up. Tobias was the leading scorer. He had 19, but great. Oh, okay, awesome. He is entering the last year now in his contract, I believe, so possibly he could be a trade candidate to a team that's looking to rebuild, take on some salary. I don't know. I've been a process guy since the very beginning, but I think it might be over. I don't know. Start the process over again. How does your MVP score 15 points? How does the team score 10 points in the third quarter? And Joe, he was basically echoing Giannis's speech but guess what, Joe? He won. He actually showed up in Game 7. He had 30 some points and 20 rebounds. You had 15. And Doc, the blame's got to go partially on him too. You didn't have your team ready to play after the first half or second half. His record speaks for himself in Game 7s, clinching games. I've never met someone live so much or gain so much and live so much on one championship with a super team that, my 7-year-old could have probably coached them to a championship that year. I don't even know where else to go. I'll have more on this as kind of it sinks in and process. There's definitely going to be a lot of changes for this team. There has to be. There 100% has to be. And as much as I like Joe, sure, he may have been injured, but you gotta. You didn't. His body language was just off, and that. It's honestly, it was almost like a toddler. He got frustrated and just kind of moped around and brought everybody else down. And everybody else, you need to see that and pick up the slack, though. It just, I don't know. I feel like I'm going on, and it just got to process this. Again, no pun intended. I don't know whether Doc's going to be back. Some people were saying, oh, well, Monty Williams, who was on Doc's coaches. Yeah, but he was with Doc. You need to, I don't know. I think you just need to, I'm not sure what the answer is. I'm not sure what the answer is. There was no bench depth, but there was no money because you got $80 million or whatever tied up or whatever with Toby. And kills me that there's Jimmy Butler in the Eastern Conference Finals again, but you chose Ben Simmons. I mean, and again, we'll get more into it as it's gone. I spent 5 minutes rambling, and I apologize. I have no idea what I even said. And the Phillies lost 4-0. They did take 2 out of 3 from Colorado. Bryce Harper was thrown out of the game. The bench is clear. That's the kind of fight that the Sixers needed. Bryce Harper is getting thrown out of a game in Colorado that they've already won 2 out of 3, but Sixers Game 7 to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, there's nothing. Phils are out in San Francisco tonight. I know it's a sad day, very much not fun, but PhillyGoat.com does have a great selection of Philly-based apparel. Probably could get a lot of the Sixers stuff half price today or something. I'm sure that they have processed. You could probably get your Trusted Process shirts probably pretty cheap today. But go to PhillyGoat.com. Check out their selection. They do have things other than Sixers. I was looking at some of the Flyers sweatshirts, and I know it's getting ready to be summertime and warm, but some of those Flyer sweatshirts are pretty sweet. And I mentioned they had some of the Rocky type shirts as well. But go to PhillyGoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. Maybe a little retail therapy will help get you through. That's PhillyGoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery. We're going to stick with the Sixers today just because, I mean, that's fresh on our mind. But we're going to go a little bit happier time, and we're going to go back to 2001. And on this day, back in 2001, May 15th, Iverson officially won his MVP award. And that team, unlike this one, was a ton of fun to watch. They were clutch. They came to play. They fed off of AI when AI was not doing well. They were able to help pick up the slack for him, play good defense. It was obviously the last time they were in the Eastern Conference Final. It seems like it was just yesterday, but it's hard to believe that it was 22 years ago. That was a fun time, though. Everybody had their car flags and things like that. AI did lead the league with 31.1 points per game that year. Also had 3 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 2.5 steals. Shot 81% from the free throw line, which he went to the free throw line a lot because he had heart, unlike our current MVP who disappeared in Game 7. But AI would take it in, get hammered, go hit the foul shots, go on and play some good defense. Hear that? Sixers from yesterday, play defense. But we're going to continue to spotlight this team. The 2001 team, they went 56-26, won the Atlantic Division, had the number 1 overall seed in the conference. They got off to that hot 41-14 start. They ended up trading Theo Ratliff for Dikembe Mutombo. Basically, if you remember, Ratliff was hurt, and they kind of saw the writing on the wall and had their eyes on the prize and knew that they could not compete with the Lakers with the way they were currently constructed. So they brought in Dikembe. Eric Snow had 7.4 assists per game. Mutombo led them in rebounding, 12.4. We talked about AI averaging 31 a game. Tyrone Hill, Aaron McKee, George Lynch were on that team. Pepe Sanchez was a bench contributor. Always got to give a shout out to my Temple guy. But AI, we said, was the MVP. Mutombo was the Defensive Player of the Year. Also first team all defense. Aaron McKee was the 6th man. Larry Brown was the Coach of the Year. AI was all NBA first team. Mutombo was second. Just a fun team. Lots of contributors, unlike some of the guys on this current team. In the playoffs, they beat the Pacers 3-1 in the first round after losing Game 1. They beat the Raptors in 7 games in the second round after losing Game 1. And then they beat the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. They were down 2-1. Just a lot of heart and fight in this team, unlike what we've been seeing. We know they went on to the finals. They lost 4-1 to the Lakers. They won Game 1 with AI's step over and Tyronn Lue. Not something that this team is currently going to get to experience, but I digress. But that was the only postseason loss that year for the Lakers, and it came at the hands of the Sixers. So On this day, back in 2001, AI officially won his MVP award. We spotlighted the 2000-2001 Sixers, who had that magical run to the NBA Finals, captivated the city. And again, if you remember, they had all the car flags, and everybody had one. They had "Ain't No Stopping Us Now" was the theme song. You had Pat Croce climbing up water towers, hanging up Sixers things. It was a lot of fun. Would have been great to see that this year, but the goddamn team couldn't get out of the second round. So with a 3-2 lead. No, don't get it twisted. Doc Rivers is the biggest choke artist ever. And say what you want, the players didn't come up and play. They didn't do what they needed to do. But as a coach, your record speaks for itself. Is that on the players or is that on the coach? You tell me. I say blow the whole fucking thing up and just start over. It's so frustrating, especially when we're just talking about the 2000-2001 team and how fun it was. All right. Hopefully the Phils bounce back. We will later, probably today or tomorrow, I will be recording the Back to the Future Eagles schedule preview. Another team that choked in the big game, but at least they got there, Sixers. You hear that, Joe? They got there. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to like and subscribe. And whether it's YouTube or anywhere you get your podcast, go check out phillygoat.com. Maybe doing a little shopping will help you out. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. A very depressing This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Monday. Try not to get fired at work today. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.